Bryce Borca was born to parents Troy and Karina Borca on June the 15th, 1999. He grew up in Minnesota. His first love was his family, but he also had a remarkable group of lifelong friends. Bryce was described by his family as a kind soul. He was someone that liked to help people and who made people feel better just by being around him. Many of the people he impacted were at a local school where he taught and mentored young children. On October the 30th, 2022, 23-year-old Bryce went out with friends in Stillwater to celebrate Halloween. The group spent the night on a party bus, presumably containing a fair amount of alcohol. At around 2 a.m, the group got a Lyft. By this point, Bryce was said to be fairly intoxicated. The Lyft driver would later tell investigators that Bryce had actually tried to exit the vehicle as it was still moving. The rideshare dropped off Borca and two friends in the Coachman or Hill Ridge Drive area in Eagan, Minnesota at 2:08 a.m. This was about 2 miles from his apartment. Bryce left to walk back to his residence, which is located in the 3400 block of Promenade Avenue in Eagan, a walk that should have taken about 45 minutes. However, he ends up walking in the opposite direction, towards the Minnesota River Valley. At 2:34 a.m. on that same night, Borca called his friends using video FaceTime and said his phone had 2% battery remaining and he didn't know where he was. From what the friends could see in the background, it appeared he was in a heavily wooded area. The call, unfortunately, would abruptly end, more than likely because the battery had completely died. This would be the last communication anyone would have with Bryce. Some of his friends who were concerned headed out in the general area they thought he might be, but could find no sign of him. Later that morning at roughly 11 a.m, his friends called 911 to request a welfare check on Bryce at his apartment. When authorities arrived at around 11:30 a.m, Bryce was not there. Over the next few hours, several Eagan officers searched locations near his presumed last known location, including the Eagan Gun Range, Quarry Park, Strathmore Rocking Tattoo, Blue Cross and Blue Shield property, and the county jail. He was not seen at any of these locations. Additionally, several local medical centres and hospitals, police departments, state patrol and surrounding county jails were all contacted to see if they had anyone named Bryce Borca or anyone that fits his description, but Bryce was nowhere to be found. Immediately there was concern amongst family, friends and law enforcement. The missing man had every intention of returning home that night. Police traced Bryce's cell phone, which showed him travelling through an industrial area near Yankee Doodle Road and Highway 13, before heading into a wooded area around the Fort Snelling State Park with several marshes and ponds. This was in the complete opposite direction to his apartment. A search operation was frantically launched, with specialised teams of canines, drone and sonar technology. Searches covered 1,500 acres. Some of the terrain is challenging to navigate, with 14-foot high grass and marsh. Eventually, with the assistance of 28 different organisations, approximately 15 different public safety agencies, and the help of over 500 volunteers, vast amounts were covered. However, nothing was found in relation to locating Bryce. As the weeks and then months passed, many tips and leads came in, including surveillance videos from the community, Multiple additional search efforts have taken place by loved ones, law enforcement and volunteers, covering the industrial areas adjacent to the river valley, as well as a dozen miles of railroad tracks. Due to the harsh winter with record snowfalls and flooding of the primary search area, along with extremely dense vegetation, much of the area has been difficult to search. One search did find a Nike shoe, but it didn't match the description of the footwear that he was wearing. On the night he disappeared, Bryce was last seen wearing a black and white cardigan sweater, white collar button-up shirt, black dress pants, and size 12 white New Balance shoes. Although heartbroken at not knowing what has happened to their son, his family started the site bryceblessings.org, a site that provides support for families dealing with the loss of a child, with a mission to provide lasting impact and financial support to these families, as well as providing updates to their own missing son. Putting purpose in pain resonates with us, and I think it's just who Bryce is, said Troy Borca. Egan police have said there is no indication of foul play in Bryce's disappearance, and that remains the case. The likely scenario being he wandered into an area he didn't know, a dangerous area, the worst area you could get lost in. A $30,000 reward for information leading to his location has been put forward by his family, and the searches continue and won't stop until Bryce is found. Bryce Borca's parents said they think about him before they fall asleep, when they wake up, and every minute in between. As of 2024, Bryce Borca remains missing and his case unsolved.